Then gang, hope everybody's doing well. It's a glorious afternoon. I'm just taking a late lunch, so I thought I'd start a proper video. I've not done one for ages, mainly because we've been so busy, and also because it's like, what do we talk about? I'm just a vlogger. I'm just giving you my opinions and my insights on my koi journey. These are looking great at the minute, which is nice at this time of year. And a lot of people are suffering with parasites. Absolute nightmare with temperatures up and down, isn't it? It's a pain, but touch wood, we seem to be coping okay at the moment. But yeah, I just thought, what content, there's content, there's lots of how-to content out there. I've mentioned it before: David Egan Koi Pond, Jamie Keeping It Koi, Simon at Up North Koi, and many others are really good how-to and sometimes how not to videos, and they're great. I recommend them to anybody to get on and have a look and go through their back catalogue if there's anything you're unsure of. Those guys have done some great stuff, and there's plenty of dealer content out there as well. Five Boys Koi, Westcroft Koi, a couple of the smaller dealers, the stuff that Vince is doing, both on his own and down at New Forest Koi, is fantastic. Some of those lives, if you get the opportunity to jump on, are great, give you a really good insight. And the gang down there are brilliant. Ricky's superb, and it's brilliant. It's nice, and it's nice this time of year seeing the hobby coming back to life and everything else. But I thought, just for the purposes of anything I put out that anybody might want to watch, I'm going to make it just a bit more of a vlog and a bit more about my journey, because everybody, you keep koi, there's plenty of information out there, too much information in some regards relating to foods, treatments and everything else, so I'm not going to get into that debate. Mark Duffin at Pride and Joy Koi has sent me up a couple of samples to trial. He did last year and he's done it again this year, just to try and give him a lift. And that's the only thing I'm going to talk about on food. Is I'm trying the growth food from Pride and Joy Koi. I tried it last year, and I know a couple of other people did, and there was some varying degrees of success, and that's fine, because it's weird. Some food works for some people, it doesn't work for other people. But I have to say that I found that the stuff that he's selling is superb. I've tried the balance, the wheat germ, and now on the growth in the greenhouse, which we'll have a look at in a minute. And it's really working for me. Very little waste, very little fish waste, very little food waste. It gets hoovered up straight away. It's fantastic. So for me it works. The little ones in there are exclusively on that, so we'll see how that goes, and we'll monitor that through the season. But that's probably really the only sort of bit I'll be doing. I'm not going to show this year at the National, and that's because I chose not to show this year at the National because I'm just showing the same fish all the time. So I want to wait. I'm going to skip it a year and go down there. I know there's been some politics and some bits. I'm not interested in talking about that. I've spoken to most parties involved, and they've got my opinion, so I don't really care about that. That's not what this is about. I won't be there because I'm not showing the same fish there that I keep on showing, because I'm not going to improve. I'm not going to get more out of the hobby if I keep doing that. And I'm not in the market for buying any new ones at the moment. I will be at the Birmingham and West Midlands Koi Show in October though. That was a first for me last year. Fantastic little show, great little show, with Mike and Kai and the rest of the team there. So fantastic. I will be there, and I've got a few different fish I haven't shown there before, which I'll probably take along. So that'll be good. As you know, most of this year's draft has been on there. Still there to get the scratch coat on, but the kitchen's looking fantastic now. Really good. As I say, these guys in here are doing really well. Now I normally truck in a PP treatment around about this time of the season, just a mild one, and it just doesn't knock the filters back too hard, but before they start really feeding, but it does just sort of knock out some of those early season parasites that like to get a grip when these temperatures are up and down. And it's going to be a warm one next week, so yeah, the temperatures are going to come up, and I feed them as I have done through the winter. I knock it back to a bit of wheat germ, or I just drastically reduce the amount. But every time they come up, if they're hungry and they come up, they get a little bit, they clean it off, and that's it. So it's not over the top. So I'll just flip you around and we'll have a look in the shed. Okay, so you'll have to forgive the noise a little bit in here with the filter going. And fingers in the way. But as you can see, I've just walked in and these guys are coming straight to me for food. This is the food. I've shown it before. The Takizumi boxes there, they're empty. Takizumi was always my go-to cracking food, but I'm just exclusively feeding the ones in here on this, and I have to say, you can see, I don't know, there's the light on the bottom, but there's nothing on the bottom of the pond at all, and these were fed maybe 20 minutes ago. They got a little bit, so we'll chuck a little bit more in now. Excuse the wobbly bit while I bend down and get a bit of food. And they're lovely fish, right up. So you can see the Deutsche Haku, that's from my boy's toy, and the bigger Deutsche Shag is from Haddock, Westcott toy, and then the others are the one from last year's spawning. We've got some fantastic chaboi in there. We've got some great Chiba, nice Ginrin fish in there. I'll just see if I can turn the filter off for a second and clear the water. Just shut that off. Just see if we can get a better look at any of them. And this really was the sort of sole purpose of mine. It was a great Charatori there, and it's got flared gills. Just you can see it's sort of middle of picture now. Unfortunately, his gills are flared. But yeah, this was really my sort of sole purpose. Was to try and breed what I'm trying to breed is my own Deutsche Chiba line, Deutsche Ginrin Chiba line with the Aragoki scaling, that sort of thing. So you can see from there some of the Ginrin, but these are the Miracarp cross Ginrin Sorogoi, and the reason the other two are in there is they're going to form part of that breeding team next season. So these will be 2 years old, which is probably still a little bit young to be honest. But if it is and they're not there, then I'm hoping that these are Kahaku male and Shag female. I'm hoping, a bit early days to tell because they need to put the size on. Yes, I do have a female Karashigoi that I could put in there, but it's not Deutsch. For next season, there'll be no spawning this year at all. But the hope is that they will. I will then be able to spawn my own sort of line of Achivas and stuff like that. And I have to say, I'm really impressed with the body. And the reason for putting the Miracarp back in was, one, to get those Aragoki scales, two, to get some size into the fish. And you just see a couple of them there, and the Ginrin that's come through. To get some size into the fish and some resilience back in as well. I'm trying my hardest not to breed ghost koi. As nice and pretty as they are, it's not the aim of the game. But the skin quality and the body and the depth of some of these fish, I don't know whether you can see that Ginrin one there because of the light. I can't see it through the camera at the moment, but the skin quality and the Ginrin in those fish and the size that's put on just in a couple of weeks, literally just in a couple of weeks that I've been feeding. Well, there you go. Is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And again, the Chiba next to it. Again, I don't know whether the camera is going to do them justice from this angle. But the quality, the skin quality, and the depth, the body in the fish is superb. I'll just knock this pump back on again now. So yeah, really pleased with the way that these fish have turned out. Just flip it around and come out there. Yeah. So the advice, obviously, breeding koi, it's not for everybody. You've got to have the room, which obviously I have. It's a bit of a process, and the easy bit is getting them to spawn. It's after that. It's keeping them alive, keeping them fed, monitoring the ammonia and the rest of the pond elements and what have you. And that's the difficult bit. And I had some great advice off Rick at New Forest Koi, and it wasn't that I chose to ignore that advice. I certainly didn't ignore it. I was very aware of it. It's just that I started getting into my own head, thinking, well, what happens if I haven't got enough? What happens if they don't hatch? What happens if this? And I kept far too many eggs, and they all hatched. Which, again, as I say, that's the easy bit. I think getting them to spawn and getting them to hatch is relatively straightforward. But then when you've got too many, the rest of it goes out the window. You struggle like hell to keep the pond parameters right. You can't grow enough food. You know, these guys, especially Rick down there at New Forest, they're doing it on a huge scale, and it's a constant job. You try and do that as a hobbyist when you're working full time as well, and it's an impossible task. So I will learn, and the next time will be much fewer eggs allowed to hatch and go through the process. This pond here has got a couple of the smaller ones from last year, so either we've still got to go up to the farm. Undecided what's going to happen with that, but I will need that space. And then in here has been emptied and shut down. That's all coming out. All of this area is going to be ripped out very soon. So I shall keep you posted on what's happening there. And that's it. So yeah, so no real nothing really of note. Got those diving up to the surface in there. Nothing too much of note in terms of how my season's going. The main aim is to get these as big as possible. That's my thing for this season. They're in the greenhouse, they're in full sun, water temperature. We're regularly hitting a bit down at the moment. I think this is about a colder night. It's down to about 17 degrees, but we're up around sort of the 20-degree mark in there, just from the sun and the ambient temperature and what have you. And they're going great guns in there, no issues whatsoever. So again, fingers crossed that they continue to thrive. I've had a little bit of a tidy up in the garden, not that you'll notice. All of this was overgrown, all of that was overgrown there. Ooh, where are we? Over there. So I've just got the eggs back again, got the planters up on the patio, etc. Need to move those bricks there, but yeah, we're getting there. Planted some bits up over here for the bees, which are doing well as well. So more honey on again later on. I can see all the bees flying out the top of the apiary now. So yeah, so I look forward to catching up with some of you at the throughout the season. I'm going to try and get down and do a bit of visiting. I'd like to go down and see Mad Dog. I need to catch up with Danny again. I saw him last weekend, but I haven't seen him for months since, so it'd be good to catch up with him and the gang there as well. On that note, he's got his growing show. It's at the same place as it's always been, but it's not the Holt Lodge anymore. It's the Wrexham Hotel, I believe. First bank holiday weekend in May, which I think is the 3rd. If memory serves, but I can't make it this year, unfortunately. I won't be there. I've got other things on. I'm away in a caravan with friends, so I'm sure that'll be a fantastic event as always. That'll be great. So if you're going to that, enjoy it. Looking forward to seeing all the photos and videos that come out from that. Yeah, that's it from me for now. I shall keep you updated on the size of those. Like I say, if you fancy giving that a trial, a food try, get over to Pride and Joy Koi. He's on eBay, or Mark, I'm sure, will be about at the shows as well. And if you've not tried it, give it a whirl. Food's one of those very emotive ones. You can go top end, low end, base it on your budget, base it on what you can afford, not on what everybody says is the best, because there's no doubt, I think, that Sakai Akari is the best, but you'll need a second mortgage to be buying that every month if you're feeding heavily at all, if you're feeding for growth. If you're just feeding generally, then balance, get a balanced food, something like that. You've got to remember, these adult fish, these bigger fish, they won't absorb the stuff that's 40% protein. They don't need that much protein. I can't remember exactly. I had to do some research on it, but I think it's sort of 25%ish, something like that. Please correct me in the comments. That's what this is all about. If somebody knows exactly what it is, then let me know. But feeding big fish high protein growth food is absolutely pointless and a waste of money. And if you're not feeding them to grow them big, then why do it? Just feed them a normal food and they'll grow at normal rate. I'm feeding them a growth food because in the greenhouse there, because I want them to put size on. I want them to get big enough to be able to breed, and I want them big enough to be able to do what I want with them. So that's it. But you know, these are on balance. They're still on Saki Akari balance food that I bought last year. But as soon as that's gone, I'll be buying the balanced food from Market Pride and Joy Koi, because it's much cheaper. The ingredients are great, and it works for me, like I say. So anyway, I'll stop bumping on now, and I will catch up with you guys soon. Enjoy what's left of the rest of your week. The weather's going to be glorious, so enjoy it. Catch you soon.